What happens when we cannot see our own flaws, and how can the words of others lead us to self-awareness? Ancient Sage. Saadi tells a story about a man who learned this lesson in an unexpected way. In a bustling town nestled between rolling hills, there lived an orator renowned for his booming voice. He firmly believed his voice was melodious, a divine gift bestowed upon him to enlighten others. Every week, he would ascend the pulpit in the grand town square and deliver sermons at the top of his lungs. He was convinced that his powerful voice stirred the souls of the townspeople, bringing them closer to wisdom and truth. However, the reality was quite different. His voice was harsh and grating, echoing through the narrow streets like the screeching of rusty gates. The townspeople grew weary of his loud proclamations. Mothers would cover their infants' ears, and merchants would close their shop doors to muffle the sound. Yet, the orator remained oblivious to their discomfort. He considered his sermons a generous favor to the community, a beacon of enlightenment that he alone could provide. One day, a traveler arrived in the town. This man was known in distant places for his cunning ways, often praising others to their faces while harboring ill intentions in his heart. He heard whispers about the orator and his notorious sermons. Intrigued, he decided to seek him out, thinking he might find some amusement or advantage in the situation. The traveler introduced himself to the orator, expressing great admiration for his reputation as a speaker. Flattered by the praise, the orator invited him into his home as an honored guest. Over lavish meals and long conversations, the traveler showered the orator with compliments, further inflating his already sizable ego. During his stay, the traveler observed the daily life of the town. He noticed how the townspeople avoided the orator, how they grimaced at the mention of his sermons. He saw children mimicking his loud voice in jest, and elders shaking their heads in disapproval. Realizing the orator was blissfully unaware of his own shortcomings, the traveler devised a plan to exploit this for his own amusement. One evening, after a hearty dinner, the traveler approached the orator with a thoughtful expression. He told the orator that he had experienced a vivid dream. In the dream, the orator stood upon the pulpit, but his voice had transformed. It was soft yet resonant, flowing like a gentle river. The entire town had gathered, their faces illuminated with joy and admiration. The orator was captivated by this account. He had always placed great stock in dreams as harbingers of truth and destiny. The traveler's words planted a seed of doubt in his mind. Could it be that his voice was not as harmonious as he had believed? The thought unsettled him, but he could not dismiss it. Over the next few days, the orator became more observant. He paid close attention to the reactions of the townspeople during his sermons. For the first time, he noticed the pained expressions, the restless shifting, the subtle attempts to block out the sound. He realized that his voice, which he had thought was a blessing, might actually be causing distress. Feeling a mix of embarrassment and determination, the orator decided to make a change. He resolved to soften his voice, to speak with more restraint and consideration. The next time he ascended the pulpit, he took a deep breath and began his sermon in a calm, measured tone. The words flowed gently, carrying his message without overwhelming his listeners. The townspeople were astonished by the transformation. They listened attentively, absorbing the wisdom of his words without the usual discomfort. For the first time in a long while, they found themselves genuinely moved by his teachings. Conversations buzzed throughout the town about the orator's newfound eloquence. The orator continued this new approach, and the atmosphere in the town began to shift. People became more engaged, seeking him out for guidance and discussion. The sense of community grew stronger as his words inspired unity and understanding. The orator felt a profound connection with his audience, realizing that true eloquence was not about the volume of one's voice, but the sincerity and clarity of one's message. In reflecting upon these changes, the orator understood that the traveler's tale had been a catalyst for his self-awareness. Although the traveler had harbored ill intentions, his words had led to a positive transformation. The orator learned the value of humility and the importance of being receptive to feedback, even when it comes from unexpected or dubious sources. The traveler, seeing the unintended good that had come from his meddling, left the town quietly, perhaps pondering the irony of his actions. The orator, meanwhile, continued to grow in wisdom and compassion, his teachings leaving a lasting impact on the community. Thus, the orator's journey teaches us that recognizing our flaws is a crucial step toward personal growth. Sometimes, it takes the words of others, even those who may not wish us well, to prompt introspection and improvement. By embracing self-awareness, we can transform not only ourselves, but also the world around us. So, what happens when we cannot see our own flaws? We may inadvertently cause harm to others and hinder our own growth, but when we open our hearts to understanding and are willing to listen, we pave the way for wisdom and harmony.